taking you on a journey through the world of music, from old school hits and classics to today's biggest projects. The only station that covers heavy metal to hip hop and R&B and everything in between. The sound of the people is CTR.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to CTR. Surprise little video for you. I just literally came home and saw that the Black Eyed Peas had dropped an album, which I completely forgot about what they were doing. So I thought I'd do it. It is called Translations. It is released today, June 19th. Weird little fact for you. It is exactly 14 seconds longer than the album that released in 2018. So, you know, do with that information as you will. But for now, ladies and gentiles, let's get into the review. So, I'm not going to lie, it took me for like a little bit of a spin at the end. But we'll get to that in a minute. I really like this project that they brought out. Like, it's got a bit of a Spanish vibe going on. They've got like a load of Spanish, or so to say, Latin hip hop and artists in general jumping on these tracks. You've got J Balvin, you got El Alfa, which I'm quite a big fan of. From the work that I've seen of him. Who else? They got Shakira jumping on a couple of tracks. I mean, when you talk about non-Latin people that are on the track, you've got Tyga, you've got French Montana. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm really glad to see, by the way, J Ray back in Black Eyed Peas. It sounds weird without him in songs. I know like for a good few, I say years. I'm not actually sure how quite long it was, you know, that he'd left the Black Eyed Peas. But it's really glad to hear. I'm really glad to hear him back in the music. I've always enjoyed his voice. I think he's got a bit of a unique voice. A little bit like will.i.am. Like you can definitely tell when they're on a track, if you know what I mean. But by far, just to get into it, the best song, funnily enough, on this album is the first song with J Balvin. I didn't recognize it from this film because I've not seen it yet. Don't tell anyone. It is from the soundtrack of Bad Boys for Life. I really need to see that film. What's it called? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it's called Ritmo. That's what it is. Yeah, it's on the Bad Boys for Life soundtrack. A really good tune. You've got a really good song with Shakira. Girl Like Me. I really like that song. The whole vibe of this album is really good, especially at the start and then all the way till about halfway through the album. I will say this though, about 3/4 of the way after that, it does dip a little bit for me. And I'll explain my reasoning in a second, but I do want to say what makes up for it at the end of the album is the last song for one, and the collaboration with French Montana. That song with French Montana really makes up for the end of the album and like really brings the score back up for me. Just because like, a couple of songs before that I was getting a bit, you know, same, you know. I mean, will.i.am does get criticised for, you know, the music that he makes sometimes. People think that it's a bit overrated. For me, I think he's a bit underrated, like as in I think he's one of the smartest people in music. And for the people that know me, for the people that have heard me talk about will.i.am, they will know that I think that about will.i.am. I think he's a very talented guy, and I don't think he gets, well, sometimes I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. But as for the criticisms that I've got for this, I've just sung will.i.am's praises, but there is a bit of, as I say, same, like a little bit to the end of this album where it's like, you know, change up the beats a little bit, dude. Another criticism that I would have about this album is I love the Latin theme of this album, but I feel like with that comes a bit of, we've got a Latin theme going through the entire album, so we have to stuff a Spanish word, you know, anywhere we can, and it gets a bit tiresome. Like sometimes it isn't needed. And if you listen to this album after I've talked about it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, in some places, in most places it fits, but in some places it's like, you know, that wasn't needed, or you know, you just putting it there because you know you've got this whole vibe going on with the album. Not to stay negative about the album. I do love the album. As I say, some of the best songs, you've got Tyga on here, puts in a really good shift when it comes to features. French Montana, as I say, J Ray back with Black Eyed Peas, absolutely fantastic to hear. You've got Shakira jumping on it. I really love the song. What is it called? Vida Loca. The one with Tyga, it's called Vida Loca. Defo check out Vida Loca. I have a feeling if they're going to release any singles off this album apart from Ritmo, it's going to be Vida Loca because it's a fantastic song. And that is along with the French Montana song, Mabuti, I believe it's called. I'm just checking my notes here because, you know, there's a lot I wanted to talk about. Yeah, it's Mabuti or Mabuti, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, for me, if you want to go Spanish vibes, I say Defo Viva la Translación. for this album. 100%. It's a really good project. It's one of my favorite albums of this year, and if I was to say something, this is going to sound strange. There's two ways you can enjoy this album, I feel, and the songs that I don't enjoy at the moment while I'm sober, I feel like I would enjoy more if I had a couple of drinks down me. It's definitely a summer album, and it's definitely one of those albums I can picture sitting on the beach and listening to, sitting in your garden, having a couple of bevs with your mates, like in the background, because of the Latin feels in this song, in this album, and just the summer beats. Shakira really puts in a good. I think I've talked about Shakira more than once in this review, but Shakira always puts in a good shift when it comes to providing features. Fergie, has never changed in all the years that I've known her. Always been a great singer, always an integral part of the Black Eyed Peas. Defo check out Ritmo with J Balvin though, absolutely fantastic song, and defo check out El Alfa as well. I'm just thinking about this now as a rating, and this is only because it sort of dips like 3/4 of the way through, as I say. I'm going to give this an 8, and if it didn't dip, it would be a lot higher. But for now, I might even listen to it again and like change the rating on the channels, but like I'm gonna give it an 8 now. I might even enjoy it more when I've had a couple of drinks down me, as I say. But yeah, it's getting an 8 for me from this. The thing I wanted to talk about, the very last song, it's called News Today, and it must have been recorded quite recently because it's about the whole pandemic that's going on in the world at the moment. Really powerful song, and it took me for a spin just because it's got a whole different vibe than the rest of the album. I think it's a really powerful song. I really think it, the way it sounds compared to the rest of the album, and the way it sounds totally different than anything I've really heard the Black Eyed Peas make. It's a little bit more slower. It's got like a bit of an acoustic guitar going on in the background. You've got will.i.am and J-Ray just, talking about the pandemic, and you got some really powerful, messages in that album, in that song, should I say. There's a really good verse where they say it's ironic because when we are struggling to breathe, and we're struggling to get by, the world can breathe, and we see like green leaves and like blue skies and everything, which is a bit of a nod to like with the less cars on the road and everything, there's less pollution, etc. But for now, guys, that is going to be it. As I say, it's going to get an 8 rating. I really love once again doing these like short reviews for you. I can tell you're digging them as well because it's getting quite a bit of good feedback and quite a lot of views on the channel also. That's going to be it, guys. We released a podcast on Sunday, first ever interview. Follow us on all the channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. But for now, that's going to be it, guys. Subscribe to the channel, like, share if you like, and listen to the album and let me know what you think. But for now, catch you later, guys. Peace out.
Chart Topper Radio.